y'all, and welcome back to my garden. Well, today we are going to be talking about all things roses. So I have these beautiful David Austin roses behind me. If you'll remember back last year, my husband got me three bare root David Austin roses for Valentine's Day, and they were absolutely beautiful last year. And this year they have already had a beautiful flush of blooms, and they did so spectacular. So we are going to get ready for that second flush of blooms. And with that, they need lots of nutrients. So we're going to make sure that they have nutrients. We're going to get them all deadheaded. And then we're also going to treat them for those pesky little Japanese beetles. So here in North Carolina, we do get Japanese beetles around June time. Some people call them June bugs, but we like to get those treated in May so they won't be chewing on their leaves in June. So that is one of the things we're going to be working with as well. So we have these three David Austin roses here. I have two roses that we got from Heirloom Roses on the other side. And then we have three of the apricot drift roses. So those are all in the backyard. And then in the front yard, we have, it's either 5 or 6 of the little lavender miniature roses. So we're going to work with those as well. I didn't really notice the Japanese beetles on the miniature roses last year, and I forgot to treat them. So we're going to go ahead and treat them today. But last year we didn't have any problem with that. So let's go ahead and get started and take care of these roses so we can have some big, beautiful blooms. So this is our first David Austin rose here. This is the Onwick rose. This one here has beautiful pink cup-like blossoms. And as you can see, it's getting ready for another flush of blooms. But we want to get in here and we want to take off all of these old heads here. This is the Claire Austin, and it has beautiful white blossoms, but it's kind of neat because it kind of fades to like this little speckled pink color. And we also want to get those all cleaned up, and we'll kind of get these trellising a little bit more. And then over here on the other side, this is Our Lady of Shalott, and this is a really big, it's like almost like a mini climber rose. It has a lot, you can see a lot of growth on it. And this one definitely has a lot of blossoms on it. So I'm really, really impressed with it. It also has a branch over here that I was noticing. I'm not sure if something fell on it or what happened, but it does have a branch over here that has died. So we want to cut that back until we find some green growth. And over here, right in here, same little section here. So we want to get that taken care of and just give it a good little haircut, get all those little old blossoms off of it, and get it cleaned up. So we won't need too much for our project today. I did get some new snips. These are the Corona snips. So I'm excited to try those, and I can link those down in the description. And then we're going to mix up our fertilizer and our insecticide to help with those Japanese beetles. And then we just have a bucket here. And then I'm also going to use, these are the protection sleeves from Farmer's Defense. So I'll put those on as well. And that'll help to keep my arms from getting scratched, and then my gloves. So this rose, this is the Lady of Shalott. And like I said, she is a very vigorous rose. And so I like to kind of keep her in size control because of the area that she is located. I don't want her to get so big. So I'm going to cut her back probably a little more than I would normally cut back just to deadhead. You can simply go in here and just kind of clip them off if you want to. But I'm going to go back and go to the first set of 5 leaves right there. And we're going to clip that back. And I try to get them where they're facing outward so they're not going back into the plant. So we're just going to find the first set of 5 leaves, which on this one is going to be right down in here. It's facing outward. So we'll clip that off. If you don't want to prune yours back that hard, you don't have to. But this one is kind of a little bit in a walkway situation. And so I kind of want to keep it in size check so we can keep walking through here. It is interesting to look how roses grow, and I think some people think it's a little bit complicated, but they're very resilient, and usually they like to be trimmed and have a little haircut. So with this broken branch here, or this dying branch, I might have to get my Velcros for that because it's pretty heavy duty. So last year, when I got this, it just came in as a bare root, which means it has no soil on it. And as soon as you get it, you want to go ahead, take it out of the box, and you want to plant it as soon as possible. Let it soak in a bucket of water for a couple of hours to rehydrate because you know it's been on a journey to get to your house. But I think it's one of the best ways to buy a rose because the root structure is just so phenomenal on a bare root rose. Um, so much roots. The roots were big, so you have to dig a bigger hole to be able to get the roots in there. But then you get like all this beautiful um, roses from it. I think they did a really good job growing last year. So this one right here is a little bit weird. I'm going to cut this off here. The one thing I do when I'm choosing a rose is I kind of want to choose it for the situation that I want it to grow in. So for example, if you had a walkway and you don't have a lot of room for a big rose, then you want to pick out a smaller rose. I also like to pick ones that have a beautiful fragrance to them and that have a beautiful structure and ones that are fairly disease resistant. So on the David Austin website, it will tell you all those different characteristics of the rose so you can kind of pick out which one that will be good for your situation. So in my situation here, I wanted something that would be tall here on this corner. So I picked out a climbing rose and then to flank each side. Now, probably going back, would I put the Lady of Shalott right here beside a walkway? No. I probably would have put her in the place of the Almwick rose because the Almwick rose is not as big. But I didn't pay attention that much to the Lady of Shalott being that big of a rose. And she definitely is, and she needs her space. So if you do get a Lady of Shalott, just know that. But she's a gorgeous, gorgeous rose and gives out lots and lots of blooms. And she smells good too. Okay, so I was just looking at this rose stem here and I thought, well, maybe this is a sucker coming back from the graft of this Alnwick rose. But I looked it up and it said on the David Austin website that this one is not grafted. So the Alnwick rose doesn't have a graft. So this is just it shooting up one of its little canes here, which I thought was kind of unusual because it looks so different than the other ones. So if y'all know anything different, or if this looks like a sucker to you, just let me know. But that was what I found out, and it does have buds on it, so it'll be interesting to see what the blooms look like. Over here on this Almwick rose, we've got some black spot going on. So this is the north side of this plant. So when we're treating them today for the Japanese beetles, we're going to be using a product that will also help with this as well. We've had a couple of really, really rainy days. This is also why we want to keep the airflow open in between here. So we may come in here and kind of thin a little bit of this out too, so it can get a little bit more airflow to this area to help prevent the little black spots on it. Okay, so I'm over here with this branch that is dying. I've already cut a couple pieces off of it. And you can see it looks like the whole thing has died. So I'm just going to go back as far as I can go to the ground and just cut it back, it looks like what has happened is I think this branch broke. So it may have gotten too heavy with the wind and it just broke. It just killed this whole branch. So got all of that removed. Let's see. Right here is where that branch broke. And it's a little bit squishy right there. So hopefully this little spot will heal. I'm going to kind of pull the dirt away from it a little bit. And this definitely needs to be treated, so hopefully it won't get infection in it. So this is the piece that broke off, and you can see it already sent up a little shoot because it knew it was in danger. But have you guys ever had one do this before? Is this some type of gall or root rot, or did it just break and it's just kind of like deteriorating? Because the rest of the rose looks really, really good. It's just that one branch there. So let me know if you've ever had this done to one of your roses and what would be the best solution for that. So we got a whole bucket just off of these 3 roses, and look how nice and tidy they're looking now. They look so good. And when we're talking about roses, I forgot about this one right here. That was my little mystery rose that I picked up at Lowe's last fall, and it was supposed to be white, but it's actually pink. That's okay. I think it looks really pretty. It didn't need any deadheading on it yet. It's just now starting to bloom. So let's go over here to our drift rose and take a look at it. So this drift rose has kind of struggled a little bit this year because I moved it because it was growing into my tall guy arborvitae. So it was, let's see, where was it at? Was it right about here? I think is where it was at. It was either there or it was here. Where was it at? I can't remember now. Maybe it was right about there. So it was growing into the tall guy and I moved it. And so you can see it's not as pretty and lush as it was last year. You really don't have to deadhead these, but I think it looks a little bit cleaner if you do. And I just come in here and just simply snip them off and then just throw those away. So pretty easy on this one. I always like to work on my roses at night. All the pollinators are all going to bed, and so you're not disturbing them. And it's cooler, so it's a little less stress on your rose. I know my mom's really good about getting hers pruned in the morning, which is good too. Same kind of thing. The pollinators aren't out yet, and it's a little bit cooler, a little less stress on your roses. She has a lot of pretty roses at her house, and it's, it's a very relaxing and therapeutic kind of thing just to be outside with your plants. And there is a weed. Look at there. Big old piece of grass hiding. Good just to keep a look at them too. Notice when they get the little black spots on it. Like this one last year didn't have any black spots on it, so you can tell it's went through a little bit of stress. But it's going to bounce back. These little drift roses, they just bloom their little heads off, and they actually smell good too, which is an added bonus. So unlike the knockout roses that don't really have a smell, these smell really pretty. And these little snips, guys, are doing so good. I love them. Okay. So I am just going to work on the rest of the roses, and then we'll get ready for our part 2. Our first blueberry of the year. It's nice and sweet. So I got a good bucket here, some weeds, plus all of my rose clippings. So I'm going to go throw this away, and then we're going to head up front. Okay, so we got all that thrown away. Let's head up front. One of the things I don't like about working at night is that we have these bad deer flies, and then we also have those things called no-see-ums, which you can't see them, but you feel like they're biting you. So they're starting to bite me. So we need to get this wrapped up real quick. Okay, so we are here in the front. As you can see, these roses have just been showing out this year. Look at all of these deadheads. So you don't have to deadhead them, but I like to. So I'm going to go ahead and get these cleaned up, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards. Whew, so that took a minute, and the bugs are about to eat me to death. Those no-see-ums are all biting in my head. But I got a lot of that clipped back, and I got a whole bucket. So would say that was a successful pruning of these miniature roses, which are growing so big this year. And so let's go ahead and get them treated for some Japanese beetles and get them some fertilizer put on them. Our Super Tunia Tiara Pinks are doing so beautiful. So if you guys missed that video, you can go back and watch it. We had so much fun, and I think they're looking just so gorgeous. So this is what we're going to be using them to fertilize, also for the Japanese beetles and for the black spot. So this one calls for, in a gallon, you're going to use 8 ounces of this liquid, and this will treat 4 roses. So it comes with this little measuring, so we're going to do 8 ounces in our 1 gallon of water, and this will treat 4 roses for us. So of course, whenever you use anything like this, you want to use it responsibly and make sure to read the directions on the back of the package. Okay. This also is good for 6 weeks. So we can go back in 6 weeks and we can treat them again. So it says on the tag you can also use this on hibiscus. So I'll probably use this on my hibiscus because I forgot to treat it last year and I did get Japanese beetles on it. So it has a whole list of things that it's good for insects wise and then disease control, and then it has the fertilizer in it as well. Okay, so we're going to come to the drip line, which is the furthest edge of our plant, and then we're just going to go around each one just like this, and we'll divide this up amongst 4 roses. So it's super simple to do. Oh, and I left my Felcos there in my glove. Good thing I came back. And I'm going to go around all the sides. Here's our last little mystery rose, and she does have some black spot on her. So hopefully this will help. Kind of looks milky. Okay, so let's get some mixed up for our other ones. Okay, guys, so we are all finished and everyone has been treated. I'm actually out here like, kind of sweating a little bit, and it's getting to be nighttime. So anyway, my lights have lit up. They're so pretty back there. So those are the lights from XM Cosy. I'm so excited about them. They look so good. But anyway, so we got everything treated, and this is going to help us in 3 different ways. It's going to help us with the Japanese beetles, also aphids, powdery mildew, and also give them some fertilizer so they can have some big, beautiful blooms this year. So I hope this gave you some inspiration. If you need to get out there and deadhead your roses and get them fertilized and get them treated for insects, because it's going to get hot this summer and we don't want them to stress over all of those different factors. So I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a chance to get in your gardens today. Thanks for gardening with me. Bye, friends.